What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel here from the GeekSpeakNation channel. I still don't feel that great. I really don't. Sorry for being AWOL for the past few days. I just have not been feeling too hot. We also had some renovations going on in our apartment, so that was a whole thing. Still feel a little just bleh, but I'm here, and I was like, I can't go a full entire week without posting a video again. So here we are. Let's talk about Bethesda being bought by Microsoft. Now, I know it's already been all throughout the news. You probably watched plenty of videos discussing this topic, but I feel like not too many people are really talking about the fact that this deal of Microsoft buying ZeniMax, the parent company of Bethesda, Arcane Studios, all that stuff, you know, them buying ZeniMax is going to change the console wars as we perceive it. It's going to not only change the way the console wars are going to be progressing from now on, I also don't think it's going to change how Bethesda works. So it's kind of a bit of a double-edged sword in that regard. I think a lot is going to change in the gaming landscape because of this deal, which is very good. But I don't think that Bethesda in and of itself will actually perform any better than they have been lately, right? The quality of their work for when it comes to things that's directly made by them as compared to the games that they publish. Yeah, I don't think the quality of their work and their quality of approval is gonna go up by any stretch of the imagination. Because from what I can tell, this deal is not gonna lead to this massive restructuring of Bethesda, right? You know, Pete Hines and all those types of people are still, no, Todd Howard, my bad. Todd Howard is still gonna be in there, large and in charge, and it was a part of their official press release that they were saying that the games that they were making yesterday are still being made today in the same exact way, and that this deal is about the future of their games. And honestly, if we're talking about projects that are already in development, they're going to stay the way that they are. I mean, we're talking Starfield, and we're talking, you know, whatever's going on with the Fallout series, and then also what's going on with Skyrim, and those things are going to be progressing as they are, meaning they're probably going to still be using the same engines. They're probably still going to have the greedy, you know, microtransaction monetization in mind. You're trying to be as schemy as possible in that regard. That's still going to be, the games are still going to be as buggy. The quality assurance is still going to be absolutely terrible since they don't play test anything. Because here's the thing, right? I like the games that Bethesda publishes. Like Dishonored 2 is absolutely fantastic. I love the Dishonored games. My friends love the Doom games, even though I haven't played them personally. But Bethesda in and of themselves as a company just have some strange work ethics going on in the way that they handle themselves in their studio and their chain of command, and the way that their games actually get developed, I think is actually pretty problematic in the long run. And it leads to, when they have multiple projects going on across multiple studios, I don't see how they even release a game properly. And especially if you look at Fallout 76, it is pretty apparent that there is a lot of disconnect going on amongst their studios and communicating ideas and bringing mechanics to life. And especially considering in that official statement that people have been saying that things are going to remain the same the way that they're developing, it just doesn't give me too much hope in the quality of their games moving forward. But besides that, I don't know if they'll end up actually making most of their games exclusive to Xbox and PC. I think there's a strong possibility, like they said, on a case-by-case basis that they will. I think something like Skyrim is just way too big to not have as a... if they're going to do an exclusive, then sure, a timed exclusive, but it's too big of a franchise to not have available on every single platform possible. I mean, look at how many times they've released Skyrim, right? Or the next Elder Scrolls game is the way I should put it. But I mean, look at the way that they did Skyrim, right? The way that they handled that game. I mean, it's constantly being re-released over and over again across multiple platforms that keep popping up. If it exists, Skyrim is playable on it, and I think they wouldn't want to miss out on that money again for the next Elder Scrolls game, right? So, with that being said, yeah, I don't really see Bethesda changing much. The people who are still in charge are still in charge, and that's really not going to change. But the thing that is really important here, and about how this is going to change the overall landscape of how companies and these console wars are gonna change moving forward is because they spent $7.5 billion acquiring this company, right? That's a lot of money. That's more than what, Disney paid for Star Wars multiple times over, right? That's a lot of money. And here's the thing, if you look at it with Sony has 2 games being made right now. Deathloop, which is done by Arcane Studios, which is owned by Bethesda, and they have another game that's going to be exclusive as well, Ghostwire Tokyo. Those 2 games are exclusive PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, whatever, PlayStation, maybe eventually PC games that Sony paid a lot of money to acquire the rights to. And I think what they were doing in that regard was trying to build up a relationship, build up a rapport with these studios, with these exclusives, so that things felt natural as they made the transition into Sony buying Bethesda or ZeniMax in actuality. But I think when you look at a number of 7.5 billion, you don't just jump there. You build to that based off of bidding. You build on that based off of what other people are saying. So I think there's a lot of other people who lost out on spending a lot of money on a company that they wanted to acquire and all their assets and IPs. So I think a lot of these studios have money that they have to spend and are going to start buying up studios. And I think what you're going to see now, especially during this time of COVID, is that a lot of people, a lot of studios are struggling to make that transition into having to work fully remote for right now, or working fully digital in that regard, and not being able to do certain things when it comes to mocap or being in person and directing, and it's causing a large disconnect in a lot of productions, right? And I feel like a lot of studios that are not first party owned are really feeling that heat of not having backup, not having a plan if certain things go awry, or if certain dates aren't met, or if certain money isn't able to be brought up out of nowhere in order to assist the development whenever emergencies happen. But also that security blanket that's there from a $7.5 billion buyout is absolutely insane. And I think a lot of companies that are struggling, or in the case of or are successful but are looking for just a little bit more leeway and a little more, comfortable, trying to be a little more comfortability in this environment that's going on in gaming right now, I think they're going to be looking to be bought out. I mean, that's why you have the rumor going on right now that Sega is going to be bought out by Microsoft. They've been slowly but surely working to build up a rapport, and Sega's kind of in the spot right now where they're no longer a hardware manufacturer, they're strictly software. And I think they're at the point where they'd say, hey, we'd like to be comfortably owned by this company that we have a great rapport with. And then they just own all of our IPs and we just work from there. I think you're going to see a lot of those moves happening. A lot of people have been wanting Sony to now move over and try to grab Konami in their game development studios in order to be able to get like Metal Gear back, get Silent Hills back. But that's never going to happen because Konami is bigger than just gaming. They do medical equipment. They also do pachinko machines, gambling. So they are a bigger company, and you can't just outright buy all of Konami and then in order to gain all of the IPs and assets with as minimal paperwork afterwards as possible. If you've follow up with a YouTuber by the name of Maximilian Dude, he talks about Capcom being a possibility, and I think that is as well. I think there's going to be a lot of studios moving forward that are going to be looking to get bought out and become first party exclusives with maybe a PC release down the line. I think that is going to end up being the future of gaming, just because I think a lot of studios just want that security, and the way the cost of development is going, and you need a bigger company to be able to back you up in that regard. I think it was inevitable that Microsoft would end up winning that bidding war because they have money to blow like nobody's business. Sony could never be able to match that sort of money, so that was very easy for them to keep increasing the bid to something astronomical like 7.5 billion for the buyout. But regardless, I think this is what's going to change the landscape of gaming moving forward, because now it becomes a race, it becomes a competition to see who can buy up the best talent from across the world, buy the most talented studios, and make them exclusively first party. And I think that Microsoft, even though they have not, in my personal opinion, they have not really done a good job at servicing their newly bought studios like Rare and all that sort of stuff. I don't think they've done a good job at servicing them and making sure that their exclusives come out properly. But when you look at what they're doing, they're trying to add more value to their Game Pass. I don't know all the logistics and how monetarily it works, but their Game Pass system is successful, and the appeal to the consumer is absolutely insane, because the value you get, over hundreds of games cross generation available for your Xbox, whatever, you know, whatever XXSXX you end up getting, and on PC, is absolutely insane. And the more studios they end up developing, enveloping by buying them out, they end up gaining their IPs. So imagine that soon every Bethesda game is going to be available on Game Pass, right? Every single Fallout game, all the Doom games, Dishonored 1 and 2, if any of those games aren't already on there that I've listed. To me, that is absolutely insane. It's absolutely incredible. And I think that is the future that we're moving in towards, is a future of fighting to buy up these studios. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting in that regard. However, the quality of what these studios are going to be putting out is not necessarily guaranteed, because at the end of the day, I still think that Bethesda, if they're truly going to make a change in the type of content they're going to be putting out, they need a restructure of their development process, and they need an actual chain of command over in their studios, not this like free-form, gluten-free, free-spirited, thinking-minded, we're all our own bosses. No, someone's got to report to somebody to make sure things actually work inside of your games, right? I think that a massive restructure needs to happen. I think Todd Howard and all of his executive ilk need to go. A lot of these people who are like the face of the company, but not actually getting things done and managing things to make sure they're actually happening. Because I think this could be good for the gaming landscape, but I think Bethesda needs to be a strong showcase that, okay, we are a world-renowned studio. We were doing well on our own before, but now being bought out as a first-party exclusive developer for Microsoft, or releasing our games on a case-by-case basis on other consoles, but by partnering up with them, we have created something that has exceeded all of your expectations. We've made a game with a better engine because we have money to afford creating a new engine and retooling things from the ground up, and we have money to make sure we have QA testers and not just the excuse of we play test our games every day. All this sort of stuff that they use to cut corners and not actually, make sure their games are polished. I think they need to be a strong showcase that this is a good decision for developers and all the things that can happen and come from it, and the security blanket that goes along with it. But with that being said, guys, yeah, those are kind of my overall thoughts about the buyout from Microsoft towards ZeniMax, aka the company that owns Bethesda and all the studios that fall below. But with that being said, guys, do you agree that you feel like the console war is kind of changing now? And if so, what studio would you like to see Sony grab up, or Nintendo grab up, or any of these sort of things, or Microsoft? What other studios would you like to see go where? Because you think that partnership would greatly benefit both of those kind of titles and stuff like that. I think that'd be a very, very interesting discussion to have. Because, it looks like it's kind of happening with FromSoft, with From Software. That'd be kind of cool. Capcom, FromSoft over on PlayStation. Ooh, well, that'd be nice. But yeah, guys, let me know what you end up thinking about that in the comment section down below. I think this stuff is really, really interesting. Just to see the two different approaches that people are taking to next gen. Microsoft is all about being as consumer friendly as possible, making things as cheap as possible. You have something that can, just like a regular gaming PC, could run the highest end games at 1080p to 1440p between 60 frames and 120 frames per second at the cost of $300. That is absolutely insane. And then on top of that, Game Pass, you're spending what, 10 to 15 bucks a month or whatever it is, and you're getting access to hundreds of games past and present and every new release that's an exclusive. That's absolutely insane. And on the other end of the spectrum, we still have Sony that is touting, we're all about exclusives, we're all about the highest quality games. We spend a minimum of $100 million, you know, developing our games. These are the big blockbuster game changers of the medium that are coming out. I think that the dichotomy is so interesting to watch, and to see how they end up developing in their own techniques and how they end up benefiting one another. Because I think the old days of console wars of like, who sold more than the other, I think that stuff is played out. You know, that stuff between, like, you know, the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, who's gonna win, who's gonna come out on top. I don't think any of that stuff matters anymore, you know. I think the new gauge is just how satisfied are each console maker's fan bases. You know, to me, that's the most interesting thing. How great are the games that we're about to get, because they're finely tuned and handcrafted, particularly for that platform. I know a lot of people don't like exclusives, but personally, I think the quality that you end up getting out of exclusives is absolutely fantastic when a developer is able to just sit there, buckle down, focus on one console and make this premium experience in that regard. So, but in any case, I still think this is a really excellent decision on Microsoft's part. I'm hoping for the best for Bethesda, and that they end up making the best decision, and seeing where the landscape goes forward. Like I said, let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment sections down below. I'd really appreciate it. But before we sign off and we're done having our discussions, I gotta thank you guys, because we are at over 1,700 subscribers over on YouTube, which is absolutely fantastic. And we hit our goal over on twitch.tv/GeekSpeakGaming, because over there we are officially at 50 followers. Thank you. That is absolutely fantastic. Because of that, yeah, within the next couple of weeks or so, we should be affiliated on Twitch, which is absolutely mind-boggling. But yeah, we'll be starting back up with the Twitch stream starting tomorrow, guys, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna try to stream every day for the rest of the week, because I really want to make up for not being streamed over the past couple days from not feeling too well. As you can tell, like, I mean, just look at my eyes. Look at that. I'm not well rested, but I had to come out here and I had to make this video for you guys. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for all the support. It genuinely does mean a lot, because you know, I'm doing this and I'm taking a limb out on doing this, and I'm trying to make this work, and it's the positive feedback is absolutely incredible. From day one, I wanted to create a community that just loves everything nerdy, and we can have discussions about things, and yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it, and that's awesome. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Daniel, and don't forget to get geeky.